hard. Oh my God.
One touch, one kiss, all my love for a night like this.
Ah, she's an amazing singer and I just interrupted the riff. Beautiful singing is... Kia ora and welcome. My name is Zoe Stevie and I'm your vocal coach for today. I am so excited. Delta Goodrem just brought out an a cappella version of her song Eclipse. Those have been with me on the channel before know that I am a bit of a sucker for some a cappella. I have been in many an a cappella band, group, chorus, slightly obsessed with it. I find it is one of the most challenging art forms of singing because there's like nothing helping you with the pitch. It's all about you and your voice and the other singers. I am so excited to see what is she up to with the vocal technique. I actually haven't even heard the original version of this song, so this is very fresh ears. What's she up to with vocal technique? How are we creating these sounds? Wish us luck. Acapella's hard, people. Acapella is hard. Please don't practice a cappella unless you're good, unless your pitching is like well on point.
Shadows in the moonlight, dancing with the sun. Planets are aligning to love as one, and it won't be love till the morning comes in the sky full of stars.
Okay, let's go. I love it. Let's go back on that because I love the way that she's built. I mean, it's Delta Goodrem, people.
Shadows in the moonlight, dancing with the sun. Planets are aligning.
Okay, so we're on the C sharp for she was a little bit flat, but anyway, whatever, it's Delta Goodrem, who cares? So we've got that. Actually, you know, often I thought she's not in the chest voice. She's starting in thinner vocal folds, 100% head voice taken lower down. Dance planets on the moonlight. Thinner vocal folds lower down in the range are an excellent way to start a song. So when I'm talking about head voice, I'm not talking about planets on moonlight going into falsetto. We'll talk about that probably later. I'm sure she'll go into it. But thinner vocal folds, when we get actual good vocal fold closure, there's not a lot of breath coming through the sound. We've got lots of thyroid tilt. You can hear that coming in with the vibrato.
In the moonlight, dancing with the sun. Planets.
There. Planets. She's a bit flat on that note. Anyway, whatever. It's not for me to pick apart her tuning. So, yeah. So you can hear planets and she started in this thinner vocal fold sound. We just go ba-dum, da-dum, dum. She's keeping those thinner vocal folds, keeping lots of thyroid tilt as she's going down. Ba-da-da-da-dum. Instead of going da-da-da-da-da and allowing that larynx to come back into more of a vertical position to allow the vocal folds to thicken. That's not what she's doing. This is a very classical singing technique. Ba-da-da-da-da, so that we don't have a change in timbre. With classical singing is what I wanted to say. We tend to have this like desire to sound like one voice throughout the entire range. Whereas in pop singing, we can kind of have it so it sounds like multiple kind of sounds as we're going up. So
in the moonlight, dancing with the sun. Planets are aligning to love as one, and it won't be love.
There. And it won't be love. She's come from that thinner vocal fold, crescendoing through, and when we crescendo, what actually happens? the vocal folds thicken. When we get more vocal fold closure, so more of the vocal fold itself closing, that is when we build up volume. We build up volume from here. I see this all the time in the vocal studio. I have singers that go, I don't want to be loved. They versuch. I've like literally just been speaking German all morning. So they try. So they try to get volume in their sound through breath pressure, and like you're not going to get fucking anywhere if you do that. So if it won't be love has nothing to do with the mouth opening, although that is brain moving faster than my mouth, although that can be I'm going to go back on that. Sometimes we want to open the mouth more, but it's not what's causing the volume change.
Are aligning to love as one, and it won't be love.
Here she goes, and it won't be love. Introducing more of that thyroid tilt, and that's what's bringing on more of the vibrato as she's going through. Adding a little bit of that darkening, but I think that has a little bit more to do with the vocal fold closure there.
And it won't be love till the morning comes in a sky full of stars and the lights from above. We've only just begun. One touch.
I love it. That's fucking hard. So we've got this. You can hear she goes, "I've only just begun." She's allowing those thicker vocal folds. But again, the reason why she's able to transition from that thinner vocal fold into the thicker vocal fold with like it's transition free. That's the ultimate goal for singing lessons. We want there to not be any difference between the sounds of the thin and the thicker vocal folds, is because she's using so much thyroid tilt. You can hear it. We've only just begun. One love. And she's staying in that same position. She's just changing the larynx position and the pitch.
Begun. One touch, one kiss, all my life for a night like this. World stops for us, only love exists when we kiss. When we kiss, when we calling perfect timing, I call it divine. Gravity is pulling your heart to mine, and it won't be love.
Oh, goodness me. This is beautiful. Let's just listen to that chorus again. Now, the reason why they're filming as well in that location is because with the increased resonance, or like, you know, with the reverb that's kind of going, that echo makes the sound, you know, a bit bigger. This would have been scouted, you know, for specifically that reason. But, you know, it's hard to record this kind of stuff and like have it sound this good. Let's just watch it again.
One kiss, all my life for a night like this. World stops for us, only love exists when we.
Okay, she's very, you know, one touch, one kiss, only we're up on the D5 there. One touch, one kiss. And yes, I have this is literally my very first time hearing this song ever. I've had a couple of people saying to me in the comments like, oh my God, you can already know the melody and stuff like that. Remember, this is my job. This has been my entire job for basically my entire life. And because I am so horrific at reading music and like my sight singing skills are abysmal. So I had to be very, very good because I sang in a lot of a cappella bands and I'm very good at cheating that, yeah? Because I can hear a melody once and I know it and I'm able to sing it. And that that is what has saved me from being such a terrible sight reader as a singer. So yeah, this is also just my job, right? So whatever. Anyway, so the lyrics though I don't have in front of me. So we've run a very much, I think this is kind of like a bit of a mixed quality up there. We've got thicker vocal folds with shit loads of thyroid tone. One love, one kiss. And the tricky part is we come down to that C. That's often the point where we need to, where it starts to go into the passaggio register, like the area between the chest voice and the head voice register, where we start to need to make a decision about how much weight we wanted to add to the sound. Because if we're going, one touch, one kiss, we can go, ugh, that sounds awful, but we can go into slightly more of a yell belty situation, but she's not belting in here. We also need somewhere to go. This is just the start of the bloody song. So we're going, one touch, one kiss, and staying in a slightly thinner vocal fold there. Also blends a little bit better with the group.
One touch, one kiss, all my life for a night like this. World stops for us, only love exists when we kiss. When we kiss, when we fall.
And when she's thin vocal folds, she's pulled all that. You can even say, it's always nice to like use the hands when we're singing, because often that can kind of represent what we're doing. And especially with myself when I'm doing that, it's like the idea of pulling back the breath, pulling back all of that volume. Definitely thin vocal folds all the way out. There's great vocal fold. I mean, look, she's a fucking professional singer, been doing this forever. She's sometimes bringing in that kind of delta. Not delta. It is like that delta Goodrem sound. She's like digging into some of those soul liga notes. We'll talk a little bit about the harmonies like required for this. This is insane. I absolutely love it. It's so beautiful. Look at those. And it won't be love. She's changing that mouth position in order to change the vowel. Rather than worrying too much about making a huge love or making a massive change, she's doing a slight movement. Love. Just a slight tongue position change can change that vowel. She's just adding a little bit more volume here, but at the start of the second verse, notice you go, oh, she takes the larynx very low. There, I call it divine. That's low larynx, allowing the vocal folds to open a little bit, but it's still very much in the head voice. We're not talking about I call it divine and allowing that vertical thyroid position. No, keeping all of that thyroid tone, keeping relatively thin vocal folds. The vocal folds change in the thickness as well according to like their length. So as they shorten for those lower notes, of course they're going to thicken a little bit, but she's not transitioned into chest voice. Gravity's pulling your heart to mine, and I won't. Yeah, oh, will. I mean, obviously, I think we're really similar in age. And what did we grow up on? Celine Dion. I was will divine. That's for me, like always a bit of a nod to some Celine, right? You can see though, really great economy in the jaw movement there. She's a well-trained singer. We don't want to be doing shitloads in the jaw. Actually, we kind of want to be allowing the jaw to be relatively relaxed. And when relaxed, I'm not meaning open. I'm meaning just that we're letting it fucking go. Your heart to mine, and it won't be long till the morning comes. In the sky, full of stars, I can ride where you are. Forever has just begun. they're all amazing singers. To be in that room with her, fantastic. You can see her two backup singers. They were in the video where she did Tattoo as well. You always want to basically keep the people who are extremely good background singers, keep them very close to you because they make you look really good when they sound really good.
To the morning comes.
Now, you might have tried to sing this song and be like, Zoe, this is so high. Think about the fact that like how old you are and how old Delta Goodrem is, okay? So as we age, the larynx actually, just like our skin, our larynx actually drops as well. So if you go back and reference some of Delta's, earliest performances, she would have sounded higher. And so as we age, we start to sound a little bit darker. We're seeing this as well with people like Adele, Lady Gaga, all of these singers that, I definitely grew up with and admired. Their singing voices and even their spoken voices, even myself, they get darker over time. So we don't want to be trying and like imitating and it won't be love and like really over dropping the larynx, but that she's just done that a little bit in order to color that second tone there.
The sky full of stars, I can ride where you are forever and just be
the camera's going around though, how quiet everybody else is actually singing. So it's just going to show us like how quiet actually is needed to be sung, especially in that space that really accentuates the tone. They're in this very echoey space. So it's not about just screaming our faces on that. That's more of a call, definitely in a chest voice. I almost could imagine that could be with a little bit of cricoid tilt. Cricoid is the area above, it's not the area. So we have the thyroid cartilage at the top where the vocal folds live, and then the bottom part of the larynx, so is called the cricoid. And when it tips back, it actually thickens the vocal folds to, this is what gives us bells. So, it's a loud sound, but you don't have to necessarily be like yelling your face off in order to be belting. Let's just go back on that because we're sort of hearing quite light sounds coming from these other singers.
One touch, one kiss, all my love for a night like this.
What did she do? She went up into that higher. I think she was supposed to hit the D, but anyway, it sometimes happens in a cappella groups. I'm assuming that they didn't really have a shitload of time to practice. This is what happens with professional singers. They often get the music. You have a couple of rehearsals and like literally it's like, okay, we're on later doing the recording, okay? But we never know, okay, unless we're like literally hearing it from themselves. That's the whole point of hiring professionals, is that we can learn music very, 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 very quickly. So when we're up there, now I'm well aware that a D5 up there in a mixed voice register is going to be relatively difficult for a lot of people. So if that is too difficult for you at the moment, rather than like killing yourself in order to get up to that part of the range, I want you to really think about swapping into the head voice. Love, one kiss, and switching into a lighter head voice register if you're going to be up there. Or you can, take it down the octave, or just take the song down a little bit. The song needs to really fit within your natural voice register and not you going like, oh, this is the original key. This is just the key that Delta's sung it in. Sing it in a key that really fits within your voice. But to be honest, actually, I was just thinking about that. I was like, if you take the song lower, it's going to make those low notes really fucking low.
In the sky full of stars, I can ride where you are forever and just be good.
One touch, one kiss, all my love for a night like this. The world stops for us, only love exists. Where we go.
good. Do you see there though that Delta and this? I feel so rude that I don't know their names. But this lovely woman with the darker blue jeans on the left. On the right-hand side of Delta, she was doubling the melody there. When you have so many people singing, you know, and also it doesn't really matter if like Delta Goodrem's voice is like really pushing out. She's the one that's allowed to kind of like allow all of those intricacies of her own sound to come through. The others are going to be singing that you can hear them. When we kiss, sort of, I always think about a cappella singing as a little bit like singing in by numbers, because you're trying to keep the pitch quite steady and also quite straight in those moments. Let's just go back on that a little bit. Oh my God. Okay. Of course, a key change had to come. A key change had to come in a Delta Goodrem song. So let's just go. Love the way that they that fluid movement from the chest voice register into the head voice is just training, people. It's just training. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. It's a huge coordination. Think about the movement as being, I always tell my students that it's like imagining that thick vocal folds of the chest voice is like when you're doing a bicep curl. So the thicker vocal folds is like when I've got my bicep like this. Okay, it's fat here. And then when I open up my arm, like I'm going higher in the range, the vocal fold is elongating as I'm going higher in the range. At some point, the actual work is transferred over to my tricep. And now my bicep's actually not really doing anything in that moment. Now, it's not like the vocal folds themselves actually just kind of like give up. But what ends up happening is that as we're going into the head voice register, that one set of muscles that was the main set of muscles being used in the chest voice gives way to the other set of muscles. That's the main set of muscles working in our head voice. And then when I go back down again, I'm using those head voice muscles, and then I'm gripping back into those chest voice muscles. Now, obviously, just like if I was to put weight in my hand, you know, there is an opportunity of me just going, and letting that weight kind of fall. But it's about that fluid movement of going up and down. That's something that takes strength and stamina, and also just honestly practice and working at how much pressure we can deal with, how much weight we can deal with within the voice itself. So that's just something that happens over time, about building up those two sets of muscles, working on the chest voice and working on the head voice. I actually have a 3-day Find Your Chest Voice challenge for you down in the description below, because it is really important to make sure that we get good vocal flow closure further down on the range, because otherwise, honestly, there's no point in working your head voice if your chest voice is not sitting well. Because otherwise you can't sing anything. You can't just sing in your head voice. Most songs will start in your chest voice. Yeah, let's just go back. What did she do? Yeah, can you see that? Oh, one touch. Okay, we're up on the E5 there.
One touch, one kiss.
Okay, we had a lovely, sorry. One touch, one kiss. So sometimes we do, as singers, raise a little bit of the cheekbones. You saw, well, not the cheekbones themselves, but the cheeks. One love, one kiss. Let's just watch that.
One touch, one kiss. All my love for a night like this.
Yeah. All my life for a night like this. Now, honestly, when someone like Delta Goodrem comes to you and sings the word "this" rather than "this," then like who the hell cares? I always found that a little bit odd with the vowel decision there. But again, who cares? Okay. For a night like this. She's also Australian, so maybe that's got it to do with that.
All my love for a night like this. World stars for us, only
that there isn't a whole bunch of extraneous effort going on. And I'm really loving that we're seeing this performance, honestly, like in the purest form of the voice, okay? Because there is very little auto-tuning that can go on when you have like 6 singers sing. What is it? 1, 2, like 7 singers or something like that singing together, okay? So, all my life for a night like this. We're actually in thicker vocal folds going up further in the range. There's just shitloads of thyroid tilt. And this is where so many people come undone, is because they want to feel the pressure of so much volume. We must, I'm begging you, we must get rid of this feeling of pressure as we're going further up. The pressure is happening underneath the vocal folds rather than here at the vocal fold level. All the night for a night like this. We're actually keeping those vocal folds closed. We're keeping that level of effort here the same. And you can see she's moving backwards as well. Look, she's got so much training under her belt. She doesn't need to show you how hard she's working. She would have done that all at home, all with her practice, or when they wrote the bloody song, not now in this particular performance. You can see that movement though. Now we do know that greater energy often causes us to feel like we need to move more. So cute. Did you hear the when we kiss? She was well back into her head voice. Honestly, I could have spent, I mean, like that was a good 27 minutes, but there could have been so much more to break down in terms of the other singers going on there. I did say just like talk a little bit about a cappella singing. So I know that a lot of my singers always ask about like, Zoe, how do I learn to sing more in tune? I have to say that it is like, it's a multi-pronged approach when you're thinking about learning to sing in harmony or learning to sing with other people. I actually have a podcast episode all about this where I talked with the fantastic Tim Collins, who is honestly, the dude has some of the best ears I've ever heard in the industry. He's insane. But we did an episode on my Singers Having Coffee podcast. I'll put a link in the description below, all about how singers can work on training their ears. Now, honestly, one of the big, like the first thing I would say to you, and like the easiest thing, and often like the thing that doesn't cost you like anything, go and join a choir and sing the alto part. Like even if you're a soprano, do not sing soprano, sing soprano 2, mezzo, or go and sing the alto line. Men, if you're, I mean, like the dudes really very rarely have any melody anyway. It's usually sitting all in the sopranos. Go and join a choir. Like that is just like first and foremost, if you want to learn to sing more in tune, not more in tune. If you want to learn to sing more in harmony, that's just the easiest and quickest way for you to go and learn to sing in harmony. A lot of it as well has to do with ear training. So learning all your scales, learning to pick out the notes, learning where the notes are. But that also then is in combination with music theory. So I know this can sometimes feel like it's a lot of stuff going on. And you have to remember that especially when you learn an instrument, like say the piano or the violin, you have to, or any instrument, okay, except singing, you have to learn to first read the music in order to be able to play it. Okay, because you have to know then the music deciphers like which buttons you press on the piano, which keys you press, and then that like the music comes out of that. One of the sort of downsides of singing is that we can hear a melody and then imitate it, because, you know, we learn singing like birds learn to sing, just like we learned to speak. Someone spoke at us, we repeated those babbly sounds, and then that's how we learned to speak. Same thing goes with singing. We hear a sound, we make it kind of our own, we babble it out, we make mistakes, and then we learn how to make it the correct way. Now, the downside of learning to sing is that we don't actually have to read music, and we're never really forced to. And like, take that from someone who is never forced to read music. I can read music because I can play the piano, okay? That's where I learned to read music. So if you are really serious about learning to sing more in harmony, or you want to improve your singing, I cannot stress how important it is to go and learn an instrument. Actually, I always say to singers that learn an instrument that complements your singing voice. So say go and learn the piano, learn the guitar, learn something, learn the ukulele, like learn something that you're going to be able to sing and play at the same time, because that's just the easiest shortcut. Honestly, the piano I think is a really great instrument to learn as a singer, because you learn all of the scales and all of the keys and all of that automatically when learning the piano. So join a choir, start piano lessons. The thing is with piano lessons, you're also getting music theory, you're getting oral lessons, you're getting all of those things. And I would then also encourage you to talk with your singing teacher about helping you with music theory as a singer. What can you be working on? Can your singing teacher sing in harmony with you then, so that you can work on those things? Your singing teacher will be able to help you with these things and building up the harmony. And that's what we do inside the Vocal Academy. Actually, we help singers to learn, even online. I know it's really weird to think, but we help through our online training program of teaching singers how to sing better in harmony through our step-by-step methodology. So that's one of the parts inside the Vocal Academy as well. So if you're looking for online singing lessons, you're like, okay, Zoe, I really want to learn kind of like everything. We teach you theory, we teach you how to sing in harmony, but we're also really going to get into the nitty gritty of what do you want out of your singing? What are you looking for? How do you learn to control this voice? Because all the things that Delta just did in her performance are down to extremely good vocal technique. And that's what we want to help you with as well. But yeah, that's like my little 2 cents. Go and join a choir and start piano lessons. If you're really looking to get better at becoming like an all-round musician, but also just to help strengthen your voice and to strengthen your understanding of harmony within singing. So wow. That was just so incredible. If you've enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you around here more often, because we're going to be looking at the Eurovision final when it comes out. I cannot wait. We're going to be taking a look at all of the national final performances of all of the artists. I'm doing my absolute darndest. Honestly, I teach singing full-time. This is hard yakka doing this in between my full-time job. So I would love if you subscribe to the channel. It honestly helps me. Check out some more Eurovision up here. Just remember, anyone can learn to sing. Oh, I didn't tell you, I have a second YouTube channel all about vocal technique. I'll pop it in the description below. The Vocal Academy, got some free bits and pieces in there. Oh, I didn't say. Did I say? I did.